Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people. Today we have the story of a man who finds out his girlfriend has been cheating on him when her AP's girlfriend caught them together. Let's see how it goes. Story 1. My girlfriend and I have been together for 4 years. They've been some solid years too. We've met each other's families, found joint friend circles, moved in together, and just started planning for the future. Recently, she has gotten super chummy with a guy who's very close to the both of us. They attend her dance class together. At first, it wasn't strange. We both knew him and it was easy to see that they were bonding over dance. But lately, it seemed to turn into more than that. They would stay at dance class late together, claiming they were coming up with new choreography or practicing their moves. And they also started texting and calling a whole lot more than they did before. They would usually explain it off as dance, and there's no reason for me to be suspicious. Besides, her dance buddy had a girlfriend and she didn't seem to be overreacting about the entire thing. Anyway, my girlfriend had her 25th birthday coming up and she wanted to throw a huge party. She decided she wanted all her dance buddies to come home, so she went about planning the entire day. Sending invitations, creating her playlist, ordering the cake and other stuff. 25 is a big age, so she wanted to go all out for it, and I was fine with it. I tried to pitch in where I could without overriding her preferences. Then her birthday finally came around. All her dance buddies came over and it was a wild time. We set up everything and it seemed to be going as planned. They had dance-offs and group dances, dance challenges, and freestyle. It was clear that this was a group of people who breathed and lived for dance. While everyone else was having a great time and I was getting sucked into the presentations, I eventually realized I hadn't seen my girlfriend for some time. She hadn't taken part in any of the dances and wasn't even playing host to her friends. I went off to look for her but couldn't find her anywhere. I also realized during the searching that her dance buddy was not anywhere obvious either. In the middle of my search, I heard a girl scream. It was the boy's girlfriend. Turns out she had walked in on my girlfriend and her boyfriend, the dance buddy, making out in the bathroom. The girl made a scene of the entire event. She shouted at the top of her voice what she had seen going on, and the entire party came to a halt. It was like a movie scene. The music stopped playing, everyone stopped dancing, and the silence was very loud. Some of her dance buddies kept looking at me, wondering how I would react to the whole thing. Then they also started whispering about it. The guy's girlfriend kept screaming about it till my girlfriend and the guy walked out looking ashamed. It was all too awkward. I was devastated, of course. First, at being the center of all that negative attention. Second, at the realization that my girlfriend had not been loyal. It made all the plans we had shared seem like a lie because she clearly didn't plan on having a future with me. Luckily, everyone helped me kick them both out. The guy's girlfriend was pretty mad and started hitting my girlfriend. She gave her a good beating as she kicked her out to the point that other people had to pull her off. She's a gym instructor and has worked up some muscle. Throwing them out didn't help my emotions though. I was still pretty mad and sad at the same time. The fact that everyone at the party also knew just grated on my nerves. So I decided to get wasted. After that drama, it was also hard to revive the energy of the party. They didn't even try to fake it. Slowly by slowly, people left me to myself and the alcohol. It was a good thing that the party had happened at home and I didn't need to drive anywhere. I got so wasted, I blacked out. I woke up the next morning to find about 50 missed calls from the cheating girlfriend. I didn't even bother responding. I just blocked her number. Update. A few days later, my ex-girlfriend's mother called and demanded to know why I had kicked her daughter out. She went off and said a whole lot of stuff about how irresponsible I was, how I was creating trauma by treating her daughter like that on her birthday, and extra stuff. She said her daughter was heartbroken and had considered me to be a better man, but was very disappointed after my actions the night before. Once she gave me the chance to, I explained everything that had gone down. She went silent, like she was sorry about it. Then she went off all over again. She insisted that it was not the gentlemanly thing to do. questioned me for humiliating her daughter, even though I had no part in that, and demanded I apologize and make up with her. I didn't have time to deal with her bullshit, so I blocked her too. Then they took to flooding my phone with messages. They wrote things like, "She was drunk and it was a mistake." I shouldn't be too petty and throw away a good thing over a drunken mistake. My girlfriend was sorry about it and I should be more forgiving. And then the killer, I had ruined her life. I didn't respond to those and decided it was best for me to move on with my life. I heard she's still not showing her face in public. Gave up her dance classes too, because the guy's girlfriend has sworn to punch her face in when she sees her. I think it serves her right. Your ex-girlfriend ruined her life herself, OP. You had absolutely nothing to do with it. The only thing you did was kick her out. I'm sorry your relationship ended the way it did. You had people to witness the whole thing go down. I can't imagine how embarrassed you must have felt, and how lonely you must have felt when they left. I hope you have nothing to do with your ex or her mom from now on. Story 2. I, 36 male, have been happily married for 6 years. My wife is awesome. 2 beautiful kids. I'm living my dream. This is my second marriage. My first marriage ended abruptly after 2 years when I discovered the affair. This was the typical 2 young perfect kids marriage. The wedding was huge and beautiful. We had dated in college, both landed great jobs. Worked hard at our jobs but had fun together. She seemed so happy. I was. We talked about our kids and our future. So I discovered this affair of 6 months with a guy that I just could not imagine her being with. My split was easy. She was not remorseful, blamed me, and pointed out all my flaws. The only time she ever did this was after the affair was exposed. I had a ton of family and friend support, no kids, and similar incomes. No alimony, clean break. That was 9 years ago. Sure, it was tough, but I was young and fell back into single life. It helped too because she packed up and moved out of state with him. Last week, I got a wave on FB Messenger and then a message from her asking for my email because she needs to send me something. The last time I contacted her was in the attorney's office years ago. I'm terrified. Thinking STD, trying to figure out if she could have been pregnant. Shocked. I gave her my email. So I get this long email. It was the equivalent of a suicide note without mentioning ending her life. She moved in with this AP, as I suspected. Lowlights, he was abusive. He forced her to get an abortion. They never married. She supported him for 5 years. He quit his job to pursue some business ideas he had. She funded it along with co-signing, which had bankrupted her. She got laid off from her job and he refused to move to where she can retain her income, so she ended up working retail. He left her when the money dried up. She moved and tried to get herself on track. Was taking antidepressant meds due to all of this and ended up losing her job again. There was a bunch of other stuff too. She ended the email by telling me of how big of a mistake she made and how happy she was for me and how happy I seemed. I guess she somehow was stalking me. She apologized for hurting me, that was it. Right after the divorce, I would have found joy in reading this. Now it was just sad, really sad. I ached over what to do. I typed a respectful email, something that I would share with my wife. Hit send and the email bounced. I then sent a brief FB Messenger note and it was blocked. Now what? Do I just delete her email? Should I share it with my wife? Edit. Sorry, I wasn't clear. I have no desire to pursue contacting her. I gave it a modest effort and am done. I didn't waste my time though. It sucked, but I believe I'm better from it all. I learned what I really wanted from a spouse and took advantage of those few single years. Got a lot of child's play out of my system. So I assume you do not recommend sharing with my wife. That's where I'm leaning. OP, why don't you want to tell your wife about the message? It seems harmless enough according to what you've said. This is an important message to you. Important matters should be shared with your wife. She was a part of your life and you still care for, hopefully not love, her. That's only human. If your wife finds out that you hid it, your wife will be very hurt and it might become a bigger thing than it actually is. Imagine if your wife received a similar email. Would you not want her to share it with you? Oh, and don't bother to contact your ex anymore. Now for some comments. Stop trying to contact her. She made her choices. She gets to live with them. Not your circus, not your monkey. Focus on your wife, who will be livid to learn about her trying to sneak back into your headspace, and rightfully so, and kids. You got a second chance at being happy. Don't F it up. Yes? You'd want to know if your wife may have had an ex-husband who was sending her these messages, just as she would want to know with you. She's not a girlfriend. She's your wife. I'd be concerned if my husband wanted to keep something like this from me. It'd make me think he wanted to console his ex-wife and speak with her on friendly terms without wanting me to overreact. All red flags of falling for bullshit. You should definitely share this with your wife 100%. The risk of her finding out in some other way would put serious strain on your marriage. Seriously, don't hide this. That's a bad idea. My ex-wife contacted me with a similar email when I was in a serious relationship, now engaged. I brought it to her and, yes, she was angry, but not with me. She told me she appreciated my honesty and transparency. That night, we printed out the letter and burned it in the barbecue while we drank margaritas. The experience brought us closer together. You got a second chance to fall in love and get married. Don't F it up. Be honest with her.